Hello, my name is Brant Hunt, and my channel is Discerning What is True. Tonight's talk is going to be on Gnostic and Historical Christianity by Gerald Massey. This is, again, coming from a particular book that I have here in my hands. It's called Gerald Massey's Lectures. Today is the 24th day of January 2024, and what this is about is how people have been fooled for over 2,000 years. It's incredible what they've done, but yet there's a hidden message in the Bible. If you read it literal, you will not get the truth. See. So it's interesting how this works out. But anyway, we're going to look in this particular work tonight and read it to you, and you make your own decision. So thank you for being here. And for those who, well, we'll get to that later. Okay. So here's Gerald Massey. So it's Gnostic and historical Christianity. There is a difference. This is the two deals here. What I mean is what we're taught today in all of Christianity is historical Christianity. That's what it's all about. It's about the historical Jesus. That he walked here. He came in the body. He's from God, such and such. When reality simply is that there never was a historical Jesus, folks. Never has been. They literally made it all up and put it together, so to speak. But that's another story. There's tons of information now available for people out there who really want to find the truth if they want to. If not, they won't. It's just it's just straight as an arrow here, so to speak. So here's Gerald Massey's reading here again from this particular book I'm reading called Gnostic and Historical Christianity. The chapter here. My purpose in the present lectures is to enforce with further evidence and sustain with ample detail the interpretation of facts, which has been already outlined in the natural Genesis. I got to do something real quick here. I want to check something out. Okay. My contention is that the original mythos and Gnostic of Christianity. Gnostic simply means knowing, and some would say simply hidden knowing. The Gnostics would be what I call, that's the people who follow this, would be Gnostics. They were pursuing the hidden message of what was being spoken of. And Gnosticism would basically come from Egypt. Not modern day Egypt, but in the past of Egypt. So we're primarily derived from Egypt or various lines of descent, Hebrew, Persian, and Greek, Alexandria, Essenian, and Nazarene, and those converge in Rome, where the history was manufactured mainly from the identical matter of the mythos recorded in the ancient book of wisdom, illustrated by Gnostic art, and oracly presented among us the secrets of the mysteries. This is the biggest con. I repeat, this is the biggest con that's ever been done to the Western world. It has fooled just about everybody. And it's fooled me for over 40 years. Now I'm 63 years old. So you're saying, wait a minute, that's 23 years ago. Yeah, that's when I began to realize something was wrong. But it's taken me quite a long time to figure it out. And it's still trying to figure it out, you see. Usually what happens with people, if they are interested in truth, usually there's something happens to them around 40 or a little after 40 years old. If, that's when you become a real man, so to speak. You begin to realize that you've been playing games with your life for the first 40 years. So that's just a fact about history of people. Now there's some that simply is they never wake up. They just simply want to stay in that particular position in their lives, and they never wake up. So let's continue on. My standpoint has not been previously been taken. It was not until this, the era of excavation, that we were able to dig down far enough to recover the fundamental facts that were most essential for the student of survivals and developments to know anything certain concerning the remoter origins and evolution of the Christian system, the more ancient evidence having been neglected until now. Instead of the Roman Church being a crucible for purging the truth from the dross of error to give it forth pure gold, we shall have to look upon it rather as the melting pot in which the beautiful and noble mental coinage of Greece and Egypt was fused down and made featureless to be run into another mold, stamped with a newer name, and reissued under a later date. In the course of establishing apostolic Christianity upon historical foundations, there was such a reversal of cause and outcome that the substance and the shadow had to change places, and the husk and kernel lost their natural relationship and value. All that was first in time and originality had been put latest in order that the prophecy might be fulfilled, and the last becomes first. All that preceded Christianity is the religion of knowledge of the Gnostics, has come to be looked back upon as if it were like that representation in the German play where Adam is seen crossing the stage in the act of going to be created. In other words, he just sort of walks across the stage and that's it. There's no acting. Historical Christianity has gathered in the crops that were not of the kind, but were garnered from the seeds already in the soil. Whosoever tilted and sowed, it had assumed the credit and been permitted to reap the harvest as undisputed master of the field. It claimed and was gradually allowed to be the source of almost every true word and perfect work that was previously extant, and these were assigned to a personal Christ as the variable author and finisher of the faith. Every good thing was redated, rewarranted, declared, and guaranteed to be the blessed result of historical Christianity as established by Jesus and his personal disciples. So, historical Christianity was made in Rome. It was not made in Egypt. It was not made in Jerusalem. It was not made in the Arab world. It was made in Rome. It was created there by the Church of Rome. So let's continue here. It can be demonstrated that Christianity pre-existed without the personal Christ, that it was continued by Christians who entirely reject the historical Christianity. You see, rejected the historical character in the second century. Yes, it was. Trying to think of the guy's name. Justin the Martyr is the one I'm thinking of, and someone else I cannot think of also were the ones who were somewhat fighting this out. And then later on, a couple hundred years later, Eusebius and another particular writer, I want to say Jerome, but don't quote me on that. But Eusebius was part of it. They began to melt it down. They compromise, so to speak. So I'll continue on. Here we are at, and so the picture of the new beginning, commonly presented in Rembrandt's like in name or in tone, the whole world around Judea laid in the shadow of outer darkness, when suddenly there was a great light seen at the center of all, and the face of the startling universe was illuminated by an apparatus of the child Christ lying in the lap of Mary. This is a good PR work. Okay, such was the dawn of Christianity, in which the light of the world had come to it at last. That explanation is beautifully simply, sorry, I keep saying it wrong, beautifully simple for the single-minded, but the picture is purely ideal or in sterner words, it is entirely false. When the fountain heads of the Nile were reached at last, it was perceived that the great